Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going on a bit of a journey. We're tracking down an ancient, almost forgotten human power that's kind of quietly slipping away from us in the modern age. I'm talking about a skill that is absolutely crucial for true connection, for leadership, and honestly, just for success in general. So think about your day so far. When was the last time you truly listened? And I mean really, truly listened. Because right now, we're constantly moving, right? Constantly swiping, constantly jumping from one thing to the next. Ping, a notification. Swipe, a new video. Scroll, a quick headline. Our lives are basically these endless, rapid-fire bursts of dopamine and stimulation, keeping us totally breathless and literally always on to the next thing. 14 seconds. Studies show that this number is now the global average attention span. Just sit with that for a second. 14 seconds. That is barely enough time to absorb a single, moderately long sentence before our minds inevitably drift away to the next thought, the next task, or, the next notification buzzing in our pockets. Which brings us to Section 1, the age of distraction. We really have to take an honest look at how our conditioning in this hyper-digital world is actively costing us genuine human connection. The sheer dominance of platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts in our daily routines, well, it's no accident. They're perfectly designed to give us those rapid bursts of dopamine every few seconds. We love them, for sure, but they are literally training our brains to adopt a rhythm that's fast, fleeting, and incredibly shallow. We're being conditioned to expect constant stimulation, and our brains are rewiring to fit that exact hurried mold. And the crazy part is how this 14-second conditioning bleeds directly into our real life. We've learned to skim through our actual face-to-face conversations exactly like we skim through a social media feed. We listen just enough to formulate our reply, but not nearly enough to actually understand the other person. We end up interrupting people before we've even absorbed what they're saying. And when we do that, we start to lose something deeply, profoundly human. We lose real understanding. Let's look at Section 2, the cost of not listening. The consequences of this disappearing skill go way beyond just being a little distracted at dinner. In a really insightful piece by Sandeep Nair, he breaks down these tangible costs perfectly. In our workplaces and meetings, when we don't listen, we end up with miscommunication and costly errors. In our personal relationships, failing to listen breeds deep frustration and emotional distance. And in life overall, we just end up overlooking amazing opportunities for growth. The bottom line here is that when we don't listen, we don't just miss words. We miss the meaning entirely. Moving on to Section 3, confronting the inner dialogue. So who or what is the real villain preventing us from absorbing that meaning? It's the inner dialogue. Have you ever noticed your mind actively rehearsing exactly what you're going to say next while the other person is still standing right in front of you speaking? Yeah, that's your inner dialogue. And it's not just some harmless quirk. It's the enemy of effective listening and a massive roadblock to your true leadership potential. When your inner dialogue is running the show, you aren't communicating with them. You're actually just listening to yourself. Okay, let's take a collective breath and purposefully slow things down for a second here. We need to clearly look at the difference between hearing and intentional listening. Hearing is completely passive. It's fleeting. It's really just sound waves hitting your eardrums while your mind is miles away. But true listening is an intentional act. It means actively putting away the phone, stepping away from the distractions, being entirely present and focusing on what is being said. And just as importantly, what is not being said. It's listening to understand, period. So how exactly do we defeat that inner antagonist we just talked about? Well, I want to unveil a little magic weapon for you, the WAIT method, W-A-I-T. It stands for Why Am I Thinking? It's essentially a mental pause. Whenever you feel your mind wandering during a conversation or you catch yourself drafting your brilliant comeback, use this. Stop and ask yourself, why am I thinking about my response right now instead of listening to the speaker? This simple, powerful pause cuts right through the noise, silences the inner dialogue, and snaps your attention right back to where it belongs. Section 4. Steps to rebuild listening. Like any lost art, listening can absolutely be mastered again with intentional practice. Sandeep Nair outlines these 6 practical steps as a roadmap to reclaim your focus and your empathy. Step 1. Be present. Put away the distractions completely. Step 2. Silence the inner dialogue using that WAIT method we just covered. Step 3. Use active listening. This means paraphrasing what they said, asking good questions, and acknowledging their feelings. Step 4 is practice mindfulness. Try meditation or deep breathing to train those focus muscles. Step 5, create the right environment, meaning pick quiet spaces for important talks. And finally, step 6, stay open-minded. Set aside your preconceptions and listen to learn, not to judge. Finally, section 5, a modern survival skill. So why does mastering all of this matter so much right now? Well, because listening is no longer just a nice-to-have soft trait. True listening makes others feel deeply valued and understood. It resolves conflicts before they even escalate. It builds unshakable trust, and it fosters incredible innovation. Managers and leaders who master this, they don't just manage people. They become bridge builders. They unlock the creativity and the genuine human connection that modern teams desperately need to thrive. I really want to emphasize this incredibly powerful quote from our source material. Listening is no longer a soft skill. It's a survival skill in the age of distraction. Let that sink in for a moment. A survival skill. In a world that is practically designed by algorithms to steal your attention and keep you perpetually distracted, choosing to give someone your undivided, silent focus is one of the most powerful, effective things you can possibly do. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative challenge directly from the author. In your next conversation, I want you to listen without planning your reply. Just be there. Notice how the dynamic of the dialogue completely changes. And more importantly, notice how you change. Are you ready to step away from the distraction and reclaim this lost superpower?